Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Gaming Podcast, the podcast where we chill and talk about gaming and nerd culture from the casual's perspective, of course. We're happy to have you here as we explore our topic for today, cosplay. If you're not on the YouTube video, you can't see, but we're all in our costumes, so it's great. It's a good time. None of us are in pain at all from our very large hats. But as first, as always, let's introduce our hosts. I'm Kitty.
I'm Uni.
I'm Roxy. Let's go, boys. Okay, so let me give you a rundown of what we have in store tonight. We're going to begin our discussion with some of cosplay's best kept secrets. Then we're going to hop into a fun game of Would You Rather Cosplay Edition. After that, we're going to do a deep dive into our love of cosplay. And finally, we'll close out the night by ranking some of cosplay's greatest struggles. Alright, so I'm gonna hop in. Oh, go ahead, Kitty.
Oh, I just said I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm so excited for this. I love cosplay, so.
Man, but hop into it.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited, so I want to hop into these. Some best kept secrets. I got 5 secrets for you today. They're basically just tips and tricks of things I've picked up along the way. Been cosplaying now for a while. We'll get into that later, but let's start with these tips and tricks. So the first is using sewing clips instead of sewing needles. So I don't know why, but I didn't know these existed for probably the first 4 or 5 years I was sewing. And what they are basically just clothespins, but they're smaller, and they're meant to basically serve the exact same purpose as pins, but they're super awesome because, one, they're easier to use than sewing pins, and they don't create those little ripples in your fabric, and then they also don't puncture any sort of faux leather or those plastic pleathery things that I feel like I always end up using for cosplay. When you put the pins in them, it's you're gonna end up with these little holes and stuff, so the clips are so much better for that. Mm-hmm. And then also, when you have when you're trying things on, there's nothing scarier than trying something on that's all pinned together, because you're I'm gonna draw blood.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad.
Especially when you're pinning on a white fabric, you're oh my god.
Oh my that just raises the stains.
No blood stains, please.
Second thing is using eyelash glue to glue down essentially the bangs of your wig, or the fly wigs on your wig. Mm-hmm. So what I find is sometimes some wigs, they'll sort of want to move in a certain direction, and especially if they're pretty cheap, you can't actually use heat on them because it's basically just plastic and they'll melt.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is I'll take some eyelash glue. I'll even sometimes dab it on my forehead, and I'll kind of put the hair in the right place. And that way, because eyelash glue is skin safe, it's a way to keep your wig hairs down in the right place, but also not in a super janky, unsafe way, which I feel we've all tried some really unsafe stuff, but this is a safe tip.
Safe tips.
I guess make sure you're not allergic to eyelash glue first. I'm scared. I'm saying it's safe. I feel I can't say anything safe in cosplay.
I mean, as always, with anything that you're going to use, make sure to check the ingredient label if it's a cosmetic or something, or an adhesive.
That actually happened the first time I ever used spirit gum. I like to put on little elf ears. I didn't buy any of the removal stuff. And it was so painful to remove. All the little hairs on my ear just got ripped to shreds. No. And I was oh my god, this is terrible. So yeah, definitely patch test first.
Yes, please do a patch test.
So number 3 is, this one's kind of weird sounding, but it's Scotch tape for everything. Okay, hear me out here. You want to get those crispy, sharp, beautiful lines after you've done some spray painting? Scotch tape. You want to make sure the little foam pieces don't fly away as you try to spray paint them? Scotch tape. You need to make prototype patterns, and you need to keep the paper together? Scotch tape. It's just, I love Scotch tape.
So many uses.
It's just so many uses. So good. You're always gonna find a need for it. So that's a third best kept secret. After that is actually wig clips. So what these are is you can sew them into the front of your wigs and the backs, essentially around the perimeter, and then you clip it into your hair underneath, and that prevents the wig from moving around. This can be particularly helpful if you have a huge wig with like some crazy hat on it. I see you,
who
kitty.
would do that?
Or if the wig is a bit too big, and it's slipping around. I didn't know these existed, but I did a big ponytail wig a few years ago, and it kept slipping off my head, and that's how I came across the solution of finding these clips, and then you like clip it in. They're not super comfortable, I'm gonna be honest, especially if you're wearing a heavy wig, but they make the heavy wig doable, so, you know, can't win them all.
I mean, we all pay prices when we cosplay.
Yeah, there are many prices. Like, you're basically just signing like a blood pact. Like,
hey, that's what the sewing clips are meant to eliminate. No
True.
more blood packs here.
And then the last tip is get one of those trashy foam. They're like basically a foam puzzle piece. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Like styrofoam?
No, like a foam mat, but they're like interlocking. They're like usually on like gym floors and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so get one of those because there are so many uses for it. Okay, first, they're great to like glue on. So if you're using like hot glue that's going to drizzle down or crazy glue, literally any glue, because you need to be able to protect essentially like your desk, your floor, or whatever you're working on. And these mats are the best for that. They're also going to be great when you're using like an X-Acto knife or a box cutter. And if you overcut, you can like really damage your table or your floor. I've been there, so
Somebody is speaking from experience.
really not good. So you know, get that mat. And then the best part is once it gets super chewed up from all the box cutting and stuff, you can then use it to spray paint on. And these foam mats are so good to spray paint on because they'll absorb any excess paint and not like it won't pool. I find whenever I spray paint on garbage bags or something like that, the paint will pool at the bottom, and sometimes it'll make my prop like stick to the garbage bag, and nothing's a worse feeling. Like when you lift up your prop after spray painting it and the entire garbage bag, and then like that happens, a bunch of like little like fluffs from like I usually spray paint in my garage in the summer, so it'll be like little bits of dirt all over the place, and it's just a whole mess. Like, you just want to avoid it, 100%. Get the foam, it absorbs the paint. Alright, those are my, my cosplay PSA right there.
Just get the mat, everybody.
Verified, you won't regret it. Best decision of your life.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like those are all the tricks that you just learn from just every time you experience it. You get this collection of things that you're like, okay, we're not going to do this again, and we're going to try to do this a little differently next time. And it's just like that big, I don't know, becomes a whole database once you do it enough, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, you get burnt so many times. Honestly, literally and figuratively in cosplay, so like.
Well, I think it's about time to hop into our game. So, Roxy, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're doing today?
All right, drum roll, please. Would you rather cosplay edition? Okay, so I have 5 would you rather questions. They're loosely related to cosplay, and I'm curious what you guys are gonna choose. So the first would you rather enter in cosplay the dance competition or the singing contest?
Dance. I can't sing for my life. At least I can like kind of dance.
I would probably say singing, if only for the fact that if I'm singing, I don't have to move, and then if I'm cosplaying, then like my
True.
costume won't fall apart as I'm dancing. But at the same time, I don't know how good I would be at singing in character, right? You know.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like I can sing. I know I can sing, but like trying to do, I'm imagining like a Little Mermaid cosplay and like singing as her. It's just like,
Yeah, like I've definitely danced in the cosplay I'm in now, which is my art cosplay, and like it's okay. Like my cosplay's a little heavy because of the tails, so it's a little hard. But like, nah, like at least it's fun. It should be fine to dance in it, I think. Plus, I have fun dancing, and I don't sound like, I don't know, a whale.
Yeah, see,
You mean you don't sound like a whale when you're dancing? There's no
No, I look beautiful.
graceful fox.
just the tail
Graceful, just whipping myself with the tails by accident, yeah, that's what happened.
See,
How about you, Roxy?
Yeah, my problem is I can't sing or dance. So I'm kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like when I was writing up this question, I was like,
then.
this is
You do the
impossible, like, to answer. I think probably dance. Just because I think I could fake it a bit easier than singing. Like, my singing voice is premium autotune. So, like, at least with dance,
Relatable.
especially if I kind of, like, found a group to dance with, like, I could just be the person in the row mostly just hyping up the rest of the squad. Like, I could probably do that. But...
Please watch for our dance cover.
Man. Yeah, it's gonna be you two dancing, and then me in the back just hyping you guys up, like, let's go. Like,
let's go.
I'll get,
You
like,
can
those,
be, like, the rapper or something,
Oh, yeah, that's,
yeah.
my rap segment, totally forgot, like, a sick freestyle, never mind. I could do the singing, too, honestly.
Exactly.
I'll just go out there and just rap about anime, let's go. Alright, question number 2. Would you rather have, like, a huge tail or a huge hammer?
I feel like Kitty already knows what she wants.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I do. I want the hammer.
Yep. Of course Kitty wants that.
No, I absolutely want to. I want to do eventually just some big weapon cosplay. So like a huge double-sided or double-headed axe, and then a huge like war hammer. I think that'd be very fun.
I think it would fit you perfectly.
Yes, I agree.
It really fits your, like, archetype of, like, the players who like to play in, like, D&D too, right?
This is true, yeah. No, I love that I'm wearing a marksman cosplay, and I'm like...
Yeah, like, I want to hit things with a hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already wearing a tail, so... I'm actually wearing 9 tails, so... I guess
Wow.
a tail.
That is one thing. You can't really do 9 hammers. You can't do 9 tails.
Yeah, I can do 9 tails.
Maybe you could do 9 hammers. Like, you'd have to have, like, one hammer, though, with, like 4 heads
Multiple.
on each, and then you'd, like,
Yeah.
hold one in each hand. And then you have, like, the last one just be, like, coming out the top of your head.
Oh.
It'd be, like, a little, like...
Just a balance hammer.
Yeah, just balancing it on his on her
Exactly.
head. Yeah.
You got the-
What about you, Roxy?
I think I'm like a sucker for like huge props, so I think
Yeah.
hammer is where I'm gonna go. But
I feel like both would be
yeah.
fun to have.
I've also done a cosplay with a hammer, whereas I've never experienced the struggle of a tail, so I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
but...
at least you can put the hammer down. Like if you're up against the wall or something, you can put it down. But like the tails, you're stuck with that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, apologies for any of the listeners who can hear hacking in the background. My dog has a bit of a cough right now, so my apologies in advance.
Okay, on to question 3.
Yes.
Would you rather wear cosplay where no one recognizes who you're cosplaying? I guess like to a convention, right? Or everyone thinks you're cosplaying another character. So like everyone's hyped about your cosplay, but they're like, I don't know.
Oh, but it's like a different one.
I'm trying to think of characters that are often mistaken. None are coming to mind right now. But I definitely, whenever I wear cosplay, I'll get people be like, oh, you're this character, and I'm like, sure. I never want to correct them, because like, they're so excited, and I was just like, I don't want to kill that vibe, you know?
I know, you're like, I don't want to kill it. But then you're also kind of sad, because like, they didn't recognize your cosplay.
You're like, is it that bad? I'm like, am I just look like a different character? I'm like, oh gosh.
Like, I just cosplaying the wrong character, oops.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with the first one for that reason. Just be like,
yeah.
At least I can take pride that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, at least nobody recognizes me. Hopefully, because I did a good enough job on the character, and the character's just like super obscure, and I can just be like, no, it's not me, it's them.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't think I would want to be recognized for the wrong cosplay. Kind of like gets you a little sad. You're like, damn, my cosplay didn't work out.
Ooh, I think it depends slightly on like what they think my cosplay is from. Because if it's something that's like, I don't know, I like and I support, then I'm like, okay. But if it's like some weird anime that like I've never
like something
like,
completely
super
off.
weird, like, oh no. I don't be associated with this. I think I would still rather everyone just thinks I'm another character. I want the hype.
You want the hype.
I want the hype.
I don't know, like it's a hard one.
I've also definitely been to cons where no one like recognizes my character. I've definitely cosplayed a few characters that are like a little bit more obscure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also weird because I feel like seeing characters out of context, it's sometimes really hard to place them. Like you'll recognize someone's cosplay, but you'll be like, either A, I have no idea like what the character's name is. Sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, that's totally from like Tokyo Ghoul, but I'm like, I could not like be asked to tell you what it's called. And so, or it's like, this looks oddly familiar, but I can't place it. Especially if they're like a schoolgirl or something. Trying to remember like what the school uniform looked like in like Code Geass versus like, I don't know, like My Hero Academia or something. It's like, it's gonna be hard.
That's a hard one for sure.
Yeah, it's really hard. Like I'm still. Yeah, I think it really depends on the situation, honestly.
I mean, it doesn't really depend for me. I'm gonna side with the I'll just be obscure the whole time, but I can see where you two are coming from.
Alright,
Okay.
rolling into question number 4. Would you rather only be able to cosplay anime schoolgirls, or only be able to cosplay in full armor? I'm talking like full armor. Like you can't sit and like,
God.
unless you're like good at making armor, which like can't relate. You're like also incredibly warm, like it's like
Full
basically
armor,
like wearing a
full
little
armor,
button.
full armor. I'm just gonna say it. Full armor. No thank
Full
you
armor.
to anime schoolgirls. Full armor. All the time.
Yeah, sadly I have to go with schoolgirl because I can't stand heat. So it's like it's not happening. Just purely because of heat.
Yeah, I'd be sad to give up schoolgirls, but I'd have to go full armor just because I love making full armor cosplays, and I think I'd miss it a lot more than. I don't think I've
Yeah.
actually cosplayed a lot of anime schoolgirls.
Yeah, like I think full armor's like definitely cooler to cosplay. Like the amount of effort and stuff that goes into it is like a lot. But I can't. I can't because of heat, so it'd be like that.
I can imagine we just get like you really huge arm or like shoulder pads, and then we'll just put mini fans in each of them.
Oh,
And they're
Oh
just
my
okay. Honestly,
your
if there's
face.
mini fans in there, I will do full armor. Like
Yeah,
if there's something that will keep me cold, then yeah, I can do it.
I've definitely heard of some like crazy strategies people have of, like trying to keep themselves cool. Like I know this one person that has like this sort of like water suit essentially where it like pumps water around so like it keeps you cool. It's like
Wait,
crazy.
that's so fancy.
Like it's crazy out there. But definitely like the fan strategy is a pretty popular one.
Like if they had that, I would definitely choose full armor over being a schoolgirl because I really don't want to be.
You're like,
You
I
know?
don't want to do this, but I have to.
I don't want to, but like my body doesn't allow it.
Oh man, I just have like these memories of like being outside in the summer. Actually, to be honest, inside's so much worse because outside at least there's like a bit of a breeze. But like inside, honestly, it's like it's even hard to go into like Artist Alley or something in full armor because usually you can't see properly. And usually you're kind of lumbering, so you like take up like the full row and you feel so bad. You're like, okay, I should probably I'll just go to this day 2 or something.
I don't know. I really want to do a full armor at some point, but
What would you cosplay? Full armor.
I mean, I'd always thought about doing a Garen cosplay just because I want to do that sword.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm thinking
Yep.
giant shoulder armor, huge plate in the front, and then just a huge sword.
I feel like that'd be a fun one. Also, like you totally have to get like a video of yourself just like spinning around for
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say the spin to win move. Just
It's like, honestly, I feel like if I was wearing that, I would just be so obnoxious. Like, every open area, I would just start spinning, like...
then just be like, Demacia! Like, the whole
Oh my
time. It'd
gosh,
be great.
yeah. Actually, I feel like Garen would be really fun because anyone who's touched League, like, knows who Garen is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, he's pretty, like, a cornerstone of, like...
Yeah, and like even people who don't play League, I feel like Garen's pretty popular. They've probably heard of him.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah.
Alternatively, you just like a super jack dude with a giant sword. Like,
There's nothing
Which
wrong
is
with
there's
that.
no
pretty cool.
downside here.
Yeah, he looks pretty damn cool.
Also, like, there's something just really awesome about making, like, a huge prop sword. It's just, like, the best feeling,
Yes.
like, carrying it around. You feel so cool. Okay, final question. Would you rather, when you put on a costume, be forced to attempt to talk like the character, or attempt to move like the character? I say attempt because it's like, you can't put on a Spider-Man outfit and, like, actually, you know, like, be Spider-Man, but, like...
Yeah, be Spider-Man.
You'd have to, like, attempt, so you'd have to, like, crawl around like Spider-Man, like, pretend like you're shooting the stuff and, like, being grappled, but you're not actually, so it just looks really bad.
So you just look funny, yeah.
You just look funny.
I think I would rather have to move. Because then I could at least limit myself to characters who are, like, slightly, human-ish in their walk. And then I wouldn't have to sound incredibly stupid all the time. Like, I can imagine myself doing, like, a Lulu cosplay, and you're like, I like purple the entire time you're there. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, could you
Yeah,
imagine?
I'm gonna have to go with Kitty.
I feel like Garen in this situation, either one would be, like, difficult. Because Garen's, like, you know, he's, like, either screaming Demacia, or he's, like, spinning around recklessly. So it's like...
I'd rather
Either
be
one,
busy
you're
the whole
super
time
you're
than,
super
than you
disruptive.
scream in the con center.
It'd be so much more fun to spin around constantly than screaming Demacia.
And you could also do his Q move where you just like whoof the sword
Yeah.
up and down.
I'm also like horrible at doing voices, so I'd definitely rather move like the character that I'm trying to cosplay than sound like them.
Which one would be really funny, though? Like...
Funny for who?
like,
Yeah,
not
like-
you, but, like, everyone
Yeah.
around you would have a good laugh.
Yeah, everyone but you, basically.
Oh gosh. I can imagine it also being quite painful, because, like, some of these, like characters have such deep voices. Like, trying to, like, do that grumble sound is gonna be, like, oof.
That's how you hurt yourself. Just as a PSA for all vocal cords out there, please don't do that. Unless you know what you're doing, please don't.
Don't talk in, like, a raspy Schmeagle voice for, like, 5 hours.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I don't know, I'm a little tempted to do the talk like the character, just because it'd be so funny. But... I'm also trying to think if, like, how problematic moving like a character would be. It's just so situational, right? Because some characters are just normal, right? They just walk around
Yeah.
normally. But I feel like those characters are also the ones that have, like, pretty normal voices as well.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is always, like, the fringe characters, right? Where it's like...
character.
where it's like, you know... I'm thinking about, like, Artorias from Dark Souls. It's like... So, for those who don't know, he's basically, like, this evil knight guy who talks in this, like, incredibly, like, ghostly, scary, deep voice, and walks with, like, a crazy hunch. It's like, both ways you're losing. Either you have a bad back, or you're, like, lose your voice by hour 2. It's like...
Oh my god.
It's like, there's literally no winning in some situations.
Well, yeah, and like there's definitely some ways that like moving wouldn't be fun. Like I'm thinking about Misfortune from League of Legends, like the
my
way
God.
she just shakes her
hips.
butt every
Yeah.
time she walks. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know how she hasn't break her back, but I couldn't imagine.
It's a definite,
like-
like, it's a full hip sway.
Oh yeah,
It's a full-on hip sway.
like it's a runway walk, but she's running. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no.
And she's like running, and her hips are flying from side to side.
Well, like, imagine if you cosplay, like, Arcade Hecarim. You're just racing on all fours, like...
Yeah, you're trotting around the entire place.
Hecarim's a centaur, right? Like that. It's centaur.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So
Because
like,
he has, like, wow, it's weird to think he has, like, 6 limbs. I never really thought about that. It's got wow. The more you realize. Okay, but like, even so, even if you had like the centaur, like I don't know, you'd like a little extension with legs. Okay, running around with that full speed would be a sight to behold.
Hey, we just have to try, and we can only try as hard as the cosplay doesn't fall apart. So
I mean, that's not the question. It just says attempt to move like the character.
but attempt applies that. That we're at least okay. You can't hurt yourselves. And I feel like when I cosplay, my costume's just part of me. So, you know.
Oh man, I've had so many times where I'm wearing something and it'll like fall apart as I'm wearing it, and it is pretty devastating.
Oh no.
Like since then, I've tried a lot harder to make things like not fall apart, but even like last time I wore something full armor, I ended up right before like the competition started, I had to like put like a bunch of duct tape just like around the armor piece to like keep on a gauntlet. It was just such a mess. Yeah, you can't win them all.
You can't win them all. Things happen, you know?
I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to go with talk like the character. Even though like, no. I'm trying, because like at conventions I like to talk a lot. So actually, I probably have to go with move because I feel like it'd be like really rough after like an hour losing your voice, having to like either talk as like a really high pitched anime or like.
Well, also you have to think about you're asking a question in a panel, and then you have to use the character's voice.
And they're gonna just feel like you're mocking them, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. Do you guys have any voices that you're like really good at? I'm just curious. No.
I don't have anybody specific. Like I can do some voices of like other. We discussed this in the last episode of like with Dungeons and Dragons. Like you can have different voices for different NPCs, but like I don't have anybody I can or will even attempt to impersonate.
Yeah, I definitely don't.
No Schmeagles in the crowd. Every time I ask this, I feel like someone can do like a good Gollum voice.
Even
or, like,
if I could, which I can't. I won't do it when I'm in this costume. My
go-to is always, like, I can do an okay Yoshi, but sometimes when I attempt it, it comes out so deranged that I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to attempt it now, because what if it just comes out as, like, this high-pitched squeal, you know? But I feel like now I have to.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what editing's for, right? Give it a go.
Go.
Alright, I'm just drinking a little water. I'm gonna do my... Oh, I just hit something, oh my gosh. Okay, just doing my stretch. Okay. This is my Yoshi voice, alright? That's all I do. I can only do that part.
Like, I could tell it was Yoshi, like,
it was a try. It was an attempt. Sometimes I can do, like the bring bop sound, you know what I'm talking about, but it's like, that one's really dicey, so we'll save it for now.
Save it for another time.
Tease Roxy. Oh man, but good game though. There's some tough questions in there. All right, and now let's head into our main topic of our love of cosplay. So since Roxy has the most cosplay experience of us all, I'm gonna make her ask the questions, and then subsequently she'll have to answer them too. But Roxy, take it away.
You can ask the questions and you can answer them.
Yeah.
She's carrying this episode. It's good.
Yes.
First thing I want to talk about is cos plans, because I feel like everyone always has cos plans, like those cosplays that you're thinking about getting to, you might have half done in your basement or your closet. Like, everyone's got their list, right? It can't just be me.
Oh my goodness, my list is too many people.
Yeah,
like, I think I've already talked about a few that are just in my head on this past 30 minutes, and it's like, oh no. But you can imagine the list I have is extensive.
Who's been burning a hole in your mind? Like, who do you really want to cosplay?
Well, I mean, I kind of want to do one that's a little less, shall we say, you know, there's the words aren't coming to me right now, but like does not have a huge cardboard hat that I have to wear, so it's like more normalish kind of clothes.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
So, gosh, the character name is escaping me at the moment, but it's from the new Disney Pixar movie Onward.
Oh.
I don't know if anyone's seen that, but like I want to be the older brother that Chris Pratt plays. That's like super into the well, their universe's version of Dungeons and Dragons, and like he's got a cast on one arm that's got like a D20 on it. I think that'd be cute, and it's got a huge vest with all of these different patches, which, by the way, I would probably wear just in my everyday. But to have that as a costume would also be fantastic.
Yo, if you do that, I totally want to be like his car and cosplay with you. Like,
Yes.
God.
like I could just like a big
Amazing.
cardboard, like terribly crafted car with like a big unicorn on it. Like that would be so much fun.
Oh my god.
But yeah, as for a more, I guess, traditional cosplay that is currently planned is, well, I mean, Uni and I can speak to it a bit. We're doing a Warring Kingdoms cosplay. So,
Yes.
Vi for me.
And Katarina.
So,
Awesome.
like, that's probably what's next in the works.
Yeah.
That Warring Kingdoms vibe is also like in my cosplayans. It is the Warring Kingdom skin line. Oh my gosh,
It's so nice.
and they're so perfect to cosplay because the color palette is actually interesting. And I'm so tired of just using metallic spray paint for everything. You know, like I want some greens. Like give me some reds. I need that. I mean, it's also like kind of like bronzy, but you know, we'll give it a pass because it's got like the really cool like green emerald dragon. Like that skin is one of my favorites for sure.
Gorgeous. Yes, I hope to do it justice.
For me,
you
this
definitely will.
for me like the series that I'm always like wanting to cosplay from is like Bloodborne and Dark Souls. So it's like I have so many cosplans from those. Number one, I really want to do the doll. She's basically like wears this sort of like almost like old style, very like lots of layers. I don't want to say Victorian, but not exactly. Very doll like, obviously. But I'm not very good at sewing, so I feel like that project is like gonna be on the back burner for so long, just because I want to avoid sewing. But I definitely like I want to cosplay the character so badly that I'll put up with sewing just for the character.
Makes
You know what?
sense.
Fair enough. The things
Yeah,
we
it's
do for the
fair.
characters.
And then I'm always looking for like cool armor sets. So like Fire Emblem, I really like the costumes from Fire Emblem. Some of the best to cosplay because again they have like the awesome colors and it's so fun to like spray paint with some like real color for once, you know.
I feel like at some point you just have to get you like a rainbow character just so you can have all the colors.
I would love that actually so much, like because
Oh, you should do our Nico cosplay with us.
Yes.
Warring Kingdoms Nico. Oh my
Hey, well,
gosh.
technically Nico can be anybody. So
Yeah.
you cosplay anybody and you're like, oh no, I'm Nico as that person.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
2
so
for 1
meta.
cosplay
I
for
love
all
that.
League cosplays.
Yeah, League has some great, like with the skins, it's almost like anyone can find something they want to cosplay from League.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
definitely.
It's such a wide variety.
And it's like the art is done so well.
Well, additionally, it's such a well-known game, right?
Yeah, I'm just remembering this one cosplay I saw. Like, this one guy did like a Tarek, and the gems just looked so cool. They were like glowing and like these big like resin. Like, man, that cosplay, I was like, man, I'm like, you're making Tarek look cool. So, not saying Tarek's not cool,
The
but
poor
like,
guy. Yeah, I was like, damn.
it's like in game. Like, I feel like Tarek's pretty lame. Not to be mean. When's the last time you've seen someone play Tarek? Just honest. Just honest.
Like in the normal games or like in ARAM?
So like when you're forced to, though.
Yeah, like I played Tarek recently because I was forced to in ARAM. There's no one left.
It's actually a shame because I feel like his character design is kind of cool, but I feel like he just gets wrecked by League. They just didn't. They put in no effort to actually like make his character cool for some reason. But the Gem Knight is such a cool idea, you know?
Yeah, like the concept itself is pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like he needs some hype.
I'm just imagining a secret rework that's just occurring at Riot. And we just don't know.
Didn't he like just get reworked a few years ago? I don't remember.
I feel like he did, but
think
honestly,
he
I don't
did.
know.
Because his splash definitely changed, and I think his kit changed a little. But also, I don't remember because my memory's like bad. So
We'll be sure to look it up after the episode, right?
yeah, well, we'll figure it out eventually. So
So, okay, I'm wondering, why do you guys enjoy cosplaying? What initially drew you to it? Sort of like cosplay origins.
I mean, for me, it started out as a Halloween costume.
Mhm.
And then, like, realizing that, oh, I can do costuming more than just one day of the year was like, this is pretty fun. So, you know, that I think is what got me started, was just like, okay, I get to dress up and do these new things that more than just once a year. Although I still maintain that Halloween is the best day for any costumes.
Would you always like make your Halloween costumes? Every year, did they just progressively get more and more like involved? I feel like that's what happened for me.
Oh, absolutely. And I have to give credit to my mum here because she would always help me quite a bit with my costumes. But I can recall one time I had an old dance uniform from a performance, and it was like this. It was a unitard, so like full ankle to shoulder, big red and orange suit.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, all right, we bought this, so I have to use it. And so the idea was like, oh, I'll be the Phoenix from Harry Potter, and we got like a bunch of boas, and we took the unitard and basically added a bunch of feathers to it and a headpiece, and it was like, great, I am a a Phoenix now. Of course,
Oh my
when you go
gosh.
out trick-or-treating though at that age, like especially up in Canada, it's too cold, so I had to wear like sweatpants on top. But the effort was still there.
Oh my
That
gosh,
sounds
I love
amazing.
that.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I don't think I've seen it.
I believe you did, like
Like,
maybe
I
not
don't
because it might have been
remember.
in junior high. So
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember this.
I can just imagine you with like a whirlwind of feathers, and you're just like moving your arms and like just feathers flying absolutely everywhere. You're
oh, the
discovering
amount of
feathers
shedding
like
was unreal.
yeah.
I remember
just-
because I ended up
yeah.
reusing that. I reused that costume when I was in high school and like had a bit less time. And then that was the day I went to take my driver's test, and of course that costume had a bunch of face makeup, and when you get your picture taken, you can't have extreme face makeup.
Oh, oh
So I
yeah.
had to wash it off in like with water in my hands. It was so terrible.
Oh,
But
no.
like
So wait, you went to do your driver's test in a full Phoenix costume? Am I hearing this right?
Well, yeah, that you're hearing it right.
What?
Oh, and Kitty's such an
Wait,
icon.
wait. What the? Can we roll it back a little bit? Did you get your license on Halloween?
Yeah. Or like whatever, it might not have been like Halloween day, but it was whatever day the school allowed you, because I think Halloween might have been on a weekend that year, but like I don't remember, but like it was around that time. It was the day that the school was like, yes, you may wear costumes.
So you show
Oh
up with a
my
full,
God.
was like orange face paint? Like what was going on?
Yeah, so it was flames around my eyes, right? So if you can imagine, it was like red and then orange highlight all around my face, and it looks like a bird. I don't know what to say.
Wait, this is perfect. This is so good.
Just roll up to the registry in this full
Yeah.
bird outfit. Wait, were you still wearing the bird outfit as well, or just the face paint?
Well, I had to put sweatpants over the bottom of the unitard because it was cold.
So no, you're still wearing the full feathers
You're
though.
still wearing
You're
Feathers
driving.
were underneath the sweater by that point, so like, you know, it just looked like a really tight shirt.
Did you pass?
Yeah, I passed my driver's test.
Well, under these circumstances, you're showing off half Phoenix, half like person. You're like,
This is the best thing ever.
I love this story. Like, I just can imagine being the driver instructor who's like sitting beside you. They've seen some crazy stuff, but I guarantee you they've never seen someone roll up in a full Phoenix outfit.
It was like the full makeup on their face. And then they
You
pass.
know, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Did he say anything?
No. I had done my best to like smear it, so like he might have just thought I've been crying, you know.
You're just like super nervous. Man.
Yeah, I'm just like, I
Nervous
just really want to
breakdown.
pass. It's fine.
Do you have any other experiences wearing costumes in public?
I mean, definitely like going to getting to conventions sometimes and being on the train. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys obviously can't tell if you're just listening, but this hat is at least a foot tall. So I can't actually get on the train. Because I am tall, I'm a tall human myself. So the hat almost fell off and got pinched in
Oh my gosh.
the door, and I was like, no.
No.
But the key there, and I was volunteering, so like it wasn't when everybody else on the train was also wearing costumes. It was just like just me, and I'm like, you know what? We just gotta rock it. We just gotta be confident here.
Yeah.
Fine.
Confidence is key.
I have a lot of experiences getting like to and from a convention. Like you said, wearing a costume where people will either be like, "Oh, who are you? Oh, it's really cool." A lot of people just want to ask questions, right? But I was wearing a sort of like a there's like a word for it, but when you're wearing like a human version of a character, I was wearing like a Fox McCloud, Star Fox costume, right? But it was also right when the What Does the Fox Say music video came out. And I had so many people just yell at me, like, as I'm on the train platform, "What does the fox say?" And I was just, like, so embarrassed. I was like, oh, man. Because I was, like, I don't know, I should, like, want to get to the convention without making too much of a fuss, right? But it's, like, so many people's attention was just drawn. Because, like, the second someone says, "What does the fox say?" really loudly, everyone's gonna look over, right? And then I'm just standing there in a fox outfit, and everyone's like, what?
Did you ever respond and be like, say
No.
little lines from the song? Missed opportunity, man.
I didn't respond at all. I was embarrassed. I was like, oh, because like all alone in this fox outfit, And actually, that reminds me that I have actually worn a tail. I just forgot about that.
You remember now.
I remember. It wasn't like a super, like, large tail, so.
The mini one.
It was, yeah. It was, like, hefty, but it was, like, pretty, like, close to my body, if that makes sense. So it wasn't, like, super annoying. It wasn't, like, 9 tails flailing out, so. It's a little less memorable.
Yeah, like, I can't sit right now. That's okay.
I will say, though, those tails are a lifesaver. Well, like, at least for me, when I get tired when I'm with you, because, like, I can just lie on the tail.
Sleep on them?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually taken a nap in this before. I straight up laid these on the ground and just laid in them. Yeah, fell asleep right away.
It's like the, I feel like there's a scene from one of the music videos that League has where they're always, like, laying back on her tails.
Yeah, I think so, too.
She's, like, ready for a nap, we just didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know. She's like, I'm tired of charming people, gotta take a nap real quick. But nah, no, these tails are like, they're comfy, but they're heavy to drag around. But like, I made it so I can take them off. Like, most of them are just pinned to the back of my dress thing, so I can take them off, but I just don't. I'm just used to it now. Like, I've worn this enough times that it's like, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just sit on some tails and just, like, chill.
It's like comfy chair for me, cool. Portable chair, that's what it is.
It's just a cushion. It's one of those, like when you go to the party and there's not enough chairs, there's always, like, those cushions on the ground. They're like, this is a seat. But, like, it's just with you all the time.
It would actually be, like, really convenient at a convention, because I'll always find myself sitting on the ground waiting in a lineup, or sitting and, like, eating somewhere. And having, like, a little built-in seat would be so cozy.
It's nice. Yeah, it's pretty nice. When I went to the convention last time, I, like, sat down, was just playing games for a bunch of it. And, yeah, I really just sat on my tails and played games for, like, a few hours. That's pretty much what happened. And then I went shopping, because I buy a lot of stuff. Yeah. No, like...
at the convention. Not
yeah,
just,
like, the little
at the mall, like...
No, not at the mall. I did not go to the mall.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I have never done in cosplay. I don't think I've ever gone to the mall. Yeah.
I don't think I have, but I don't remember. I've gone to work in this before, because I think I was working Halloween, so they were like, oh, you can dress up, and I was like, okay. But it was at the time, like, I guess people listening won't know, but these are like, these sleeves are not attached to the actual dress, but the first time we made it, it was like attached to my dress and I couldn't lift my arms. So Working was a struggle because I couldn't move my arms. I think Kitty remembers this.
I do, yeah. You couldn't really go past it. It's like those Barbie dolls that don't have the full shoulder joint.
Yeah.
It's like it just gets stuck.
Yeah, that was straight up me. I went to school in that, and then I went to work in that, and like I was like, I can't move my arms. This was a mistake. So the year after that, I took it off the actual dress, and now it's just like separate. It's much better. Much, much, much better. I feel so free.
Yeah, I feel like reduced mobility is just like a way of life with cosplay. It's so bad.
It really is.
But from the
Well,
sounds of
especially-
it.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just like you said, reduce mobility. I'm just like, yeah, or just like having to think about if you can actually get through something,
Yeah.
like a doorway.
Literally. Oh my god, I've hit so many people with these tails, and Kitty's out here with her hat, so...
A lot of times I can't even take the bus, have to drive, because my costume will just be in the back of my car, and then when I get there, in like the parking garage or whatever, I'll like put it on, because there's just so many, like, there's just way too many pieces, and it's like, I can't sit, and I probably can't wear this all day anyway. At some point in the day, I have to go back to my car, and sweatily take off all my armor, and just be like,
You're like, I need a break.
like, my hair is just like matted down, it's so bad, but the things you do for cosplay. For people who don't cosplay, what do you find is the appeal of cosplay? What draws you to it?
Okay, so like, so many shows, animes, games, like, I don't know. People obviously have like their favorite, like, character, person, whatever, right? It's nice to just kind of be that person, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of like. If I like watching something and I like a specific character, I want to cosplay them just because, like, oh, I wonder what it'd be like to be them. That's what appeals to me in terms of cosplay.
That totally makes sense, because you just get to... I mean, I think we talked about this last episode, but it's like, you get to step out of yourself for a little bit, and you get to be somebody different. And especially because, like, half the time, if you're not thinking about the stuff you're doing, you're thinking about, okay, what is falling apart currently on my costume that I have to fix? So, like, it's all consuming. Plus, there is something to be said for just going through the process of making something in general. Just going through and being like, okay, I need to plan it out, because like there's the stages of when you get to do it. I feel like if you love crafting and like being in that project, having this result to me is a lot more rewarding than, say, if you're crafting something like just for fun. Like I'm imagining if you learn to like felt or something and you get like the little miniatures, like that is great, and no knock to anybody who does felting, but I would rather have a costume I could wear and like have some fun and take pictures in than just have the one thing, right? So, you know, that I mean, I've always crafted when I was little, and that apparently has gone away, so that I think is what makes it fun for me.
Yeah, actually, I feel like I resonate a bit with both of your answers. Like, really well said. I find that I think there is something like what Caitlin was touching on, of being able to share, essentially, after you've crafted for so long, you've made this thing, be able to share that with other people and then have them be excited as you are about your costume, and then, you know, hyping them up, and being able to also like find characters from the same series and getting pictures with them. It's so much fun to just like see other people, how much work they put in, and just like be part of that community. It's just really, it's a really fun community to be a part of, because like everyone's just trying to like, you know, be as nerdy as possible, honestly. Like, you have to be pretty nerdy to like to want to cosplay, right? So it's like, at that point, no judgments, you know.
Well, plus I feel like there's always, at least for me, there's always a little bit of like validation whenever I'm at a con, when I'm like, and someone's like, oh, can I take a picture? Because it's like, oh, you're appreciating what I've done, and you can see what I've done. So like that's pretty neat.
I agree with that.
I don't know, I get so excited when I see a character I really like. It just brings so much like excitement. I just like want to take a picture with them. I don't know, there's just this like special type of joy when you see a character that you've engaged with so much through a game or like through a show. Like seeing them in person is just such like a fun kind of like magical experience, if that makes sense. It's so much fun to like I guess, like, be that for someone else too, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, it almost takes you back to, like, the most common, or the biggest example I could think of, I guess, would be, like, the characters at Disney World. Right, where like some of the small kids like come up and they see like Cinderella, and of course when you're a kid you can sometimes make that like it's actually Cinderella, right? So like for me there's a little bit of that kind of magic happening too.
Yeah, I definitely find that a lot more when I go to comic conventions. I find that anime conventions, usually people don't like bring their kids as often. People still do, but at comic conventions, it's like a lot of times people will be there with like their whole family, right? So I was like taking pictures of the kids and stuff, and no matter what I'm cosplaying, I'll always have like a sort of like a kid cover story. So like if I'm cosplaying something from Dark Souls, right? I don't want to be like, oh yeah, this is like this blood knight who like siphons the blood of children, or that's not in Dark Souls, by the way. Like it's not that bad. But you know, I don't want to be like some scary thing. So it's like, oh yeah, it's just like this cool knight guy, and like you know he saves like I don't know, like you know you kind of have your like your cover story to like make sure it's like exciting and like fun, like family friendly.
Yeah, family friendly.
So I guess this actually kind of like liaisons a bit into like cosplay convention etiquette and sort of like things that it's like a bit of a PSA, honestly, of things cosplayers want you to know when you're asking for their photo or when you just like see them around a convention. The one thing for me that I find a lot of times people I guess don't recognize is sometimes like you'll be eating and you'll be like halfway through like a burger, like your hands are like, you know, whatever. And then someone will be like, oh, can I have a photo? It's like, bruh. Like,
Yeah, you're like, yes, but like, why did you ask while I was
yeah, the thing is, like, I feel so, like, I feel so bad saying no that I will just be like, okay, sure, right? But
Yes.
then it's usually like you have to like put down your food, you have to like, you know, put on some gloves or whatever, like pick up a prop, you're like trying to move away a bit from the table, but it's like, yeah, that's like the one thing for me that I'm like, I wish people a little bit of courtesy while someone's eating. That's like the one thing, yeah.
Like if you could just like wait until they're done eating, probably be preferable, you know.
But I also like get the excitement
in general,
if that makes sense, right? Like I get the excitement of like seeing a character and like not wanting to like miss the opportunity, right? But it's like I feel like that's like a sacred moment, you know. Leave me and my goldfish alone.
Yeah, I just want to eat. And like when I see food, I want to eat it and just eat it.
It's just a one-track mind from there.
At conventions, it's so easy to just get lost in the moment and be like, God, the last thing I ate was like ramen yesterday. Gosh, I need to find some sustenance. And then you're like finally eating, you're like nomming, and then it's like, oh, can I have a photo? And it's like, you're like, please.
You're like, no. Yes, but
like,
no.
You've already like unbuttoned your like pants to like fit some more food. You're like, oh man, do I really gotta? I guess I'll button them back up. Let's go.
Just get set up, Ariana. Okay.
Just use my greasy hands to put my wig back on. It's no problem. Just okay, but like.
Oh man, yeah. One thing I really did appreciate from somebody was when they did ask me for a picture. They also told me where they were distributing it. So like, for example, I think this guy he was doing a blog post on his personal website, and he actually asked me. He's like, "Can I do this? It'll be put on my blog here." And I'm like, you know, that's kind of neat because then you kind of have some control. You get like some idea of where it's happening. But that guy also was super sweet. He had like a box of candy that he would open to us after we took the picture, which was just like, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, it's definitely a really nice touch. When someone actually tells you like their like Instagram account or something like that. So because it's also really helpful. To be able to like find some photos of your costume, because I've definitely been in a situation where I didn't even take any photos really. Like I took like one or two before I left the house, and that's like all I have for the entire weekend. So like being able to like look back and like find your pictures on someone else's Instagram can actually be like really helpful to actually like get some photos of your cosplay.
Yeah, it definitely is. But yeah, it's nice when someone tells you for sure, because I know like, me and Kitty took a picture with someone at a convention, and obviously we didn't know who they were, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then found out they were friends with, like, one of my friends, and, like, were casually on their Facebook, like, profile picture.
Yeah, it was like their cover photo or something.
Yeah, it was like,
oh.
yeah, I was like, oh, that's us.
Wait, so like their Facebook profile photo was a picture
Like-
of you guys with
like,
them.
like it was like
in
all,
cosplay.
like, there was like, yeah, it was like us
It's him, his
in
friend,
cosplay
and then
with
us,
these
yeah.
two people. It was like their cover photo.
Okay.
And I found it because of my other friend. They were like,
Oh, wow.
oh, how do you know this person? And I was like, I don't. I was like, I took a picture with them. I was like, I definitely remember taking a picture, but yeah. I mean, it's just nice to know if they, like, tell you, at least.
I mean, of course, no one's under any obligation to, but, like,
Yeah.
it's always fun, because then, like, you get to bit more connection with, it's not just a person in a costume, you know, it's someone who's worked hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because of
And also
that.
gonna be really like fun to collaborate with like photographers, right? Especially like if someone's like has their like setup or whatever, and it's like, oh, can I take a few photos? It's like really nice if they give you like a little business card at the end, so you can actually like find them later. That's always something that's really nice.
Yeah.
I've gotten into the habit recently of actually setting up like a photo shoot when I like wear a cosplay. Like I'll like contact a photographer before the convention, like set up like a time frame, and I found that really helpful for like, cause like so many of my early costumes I don't even have any photos of, because I would leave the house in them and I have like one or two selfies and that's like it from the weekend, you know?
Yeah, it's the same here.
I need to like organize that time or else I just end up like and it's like so sad because like, oh man, I wish I had some like photos to remember this, and I'm like, nah, you don't got any. Like, okay, solid. It can also be really good for like group cosplays to have that like time set aside, because I always find that like while you might like in the beginning of the day all see each other, by half of the day everyone's scattered, right? So having that time where everyone comes back where you can actually like take a group photo is so nice, because like everyone puts so much effort into like coordinating it, right? It's like good to have like that memory, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like you think about all the hard work that goes into it, and sometimes even when you have that hard work, you know, there's still stuff that you have to put up with, which actually leads real nicely into our rankings for tonight, which is pretty much all about what we can and can't stand when cosplaying.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a bunch of we have a list of basically the easiest well, just things that you might encounter that you have to do sometimes when you're cosplaying, and so we've all ranked them, I think, based on what's easiest for us to do and down to the worst. So you know, how about Roxy? Why don't you give us your list so we get a bit of an idea of what we're talking about?
All right. Yeah. Okay. So my ranking starts with like the easiest / one I would be most likely to do, and then at the end it's like the thing I dread the most in the world. Like I really dread this thing. So the first is having a heavy, large prop. I don't know. I'm a sucker for like props, so honestly, for me, it's a boon. Even though my arms are like jello by the end of the day,
Yeah.
and I probably accidentally smacked a few people. It's so much fun to like have a huge prop. The second thing is false eyelashes. Oh my gosh, these took me so long to understand how to put on, and I still put them on so jankily, to be honest. But I mean, you'll see the rest of the list. It's some pretty dreaded stuff, so, you know. The best of the worst. So number 3 for me is high heels. I've definitely have some horror stories of wearing high heels that I didn't break in first and getting quarter-size
no.
blisters on the bottom of my feet. Nothing is more painful. But now that I like actually break them in, you know, I wear the socks, I use a hairdryer and stuff, a lot can be eliminated. A lot of the pain you don't need to suffer through. Number 4 for me is when you can't use your hands. So you either have like hand armor or you have like gloves. This can be super annoying, like where you can't use your phone at all. You like try to get money to like pay someone in like the vendor hall, and it's like a 7-hour struggle. And then number 5 for me is when no one can really hear you properly because you have something covering your head. Number 6 is when you can't see properly because, again, you probably have something covering your head. Number 7 is the duct tape disaster, when 90% of your costume is just held together by a prayer and a wish. Number 8 is like an oddly specific one I included in this list because I've struggled with it way too many times. But this is when you're wearing basically knee-high socks, but it could also just be like, a lot of characters would just have some, honestly, it's like the bottom of your leg coverings, and it's like they just slip down so easily, and it's like every 5 seconds I'm like pulling them back up, and it is so, like, I just give up at some point. Like, at some point you just lose the fight. You're like, you know what, these are just gonna be ankle warmers, and that's it. That's just what they're gonna be. Number 9 is full body paint. I've never actually done this, but I've heard horror stories. Like, I know that, I mean, not as bad as having to wash it off right before your driver's photo, but no, I'm just joking. But alright. So then number 10 is being too hot / too cold. It can be super uncomfortable when you're wearing like a full armor thing in the summer. Enough said. Number 11 is when you can't sit down. Again, I feel like I've struggled with this so many times, wearing full armor or some sort of like weird tail thing. You can't sit properly. Number 12 is when you can't breathe properly. Like corsets, like armor that's way too tight. Like, I've been there. Number 13 is wearing the wrong size shoes. Man, this is so painful. It's so painful. By the end of the day, you're like, why did I do this? Since this has happened to me too many times, I've started to pack a pair of flip-flops in my bag, just because I can, like, that way at least I can tap out, you know? I'm like, you know what, no more of these shoes. Like, this is too painful. And wrong size shoes and high heels, it's like, don't even show up. Like, you're just in severe pain.
Just show up in flip-flops at that point.
And then number 14. This is the worst. Like, the worst. And it's when your wig is too small. Man. I get such bad headaches when my wig is too small. It's terrible. Like, oof.
Straight up oof.
It's just, and it's so bad, because then halfway through the day, like, honestly, I'd be in the position where I'm like, I gotta take the wig off. But then at that point, your hair is, like, so matted down from the wig. Like, some people, I swear, they take their hair out of their, like, wig cap, and it's, like, somehow majestic. It's, like, perfectly coiffed still, and I'm like, I don't know how you did that, because mine is just, like, this mess of, like, frizz and just, like, static. So those are my, my 14. Best is the large heavy prop. Worst, small wigs. Never do it. Never again. Take it away, Kitty. What are your 14?
Okay, so I kind of ranked this. I assumed it was like easiest thing that I could probably do, and then hardest thing. I was like, nope, I would never. So the first one from my list is wear high heels.
Yep.
Done it. My whole life. Don't think that would be a problem. A wig that's too small. This wig is too small, the one I'm currently wearing. And you know, I wear hats that pinch my head already, so we deal.
You are stronger than I.
Next would probably be the heavier large prop, you know, just because I love them, so like can definitely do. Full body paint is afterward, because, you know, it's a lot of washing, but you can still do it. Plus, I haven't given up on my my Nico cosplay yet, which is pretty much going to be mostly body paint.
Yes, sir.
Let's go, boys.
Next to that is really clothes that are too hot or too cold. Simply for the fact that, like, I feel like I'm always the person who just brings the extra sweater. That at some point you just tap out and you're just like, nope, I put the sweater on, or, you know, the too hot one might be a bit tougher. The next one I have is can't sit down, and then can't use hands, which is like, you know, I could deal if it's for a day. It can deal. I used to be a lifeguard. I've had to stand for multiple hours, no sitting, so I could do it. Then we have wear shoes that are the wrong size. Then after that, we have the knee-high socks that keep falling down. I say that because I used to wear garters with this dress and this costume rather for some belts that I would wear around the knees because for some reason Caitlin has
I know what you're talking
some belts
about.
around her legs, which I don't know how they work normally because I can't get them to stay up. So that's always super annoying. Then I've got the covering of the face that's something reducing your vision. After that, I have fake eyelashes. I cannot weightlift with my eyes at all. And so the idea of having to do that for the whole day, oh my goodness. I never want to have to wear falsies. I'm not a fan. Like, I'll do it for the pictures, but oh man, that's rough. And then my last one is I can't breathe properly. Especially if it's coupled with, like, I can't sit down. Because then you're just like, oh man. Who's gonna pass out?
Yep. Can't breathe properly is a rough one. The fact that that's not even on the list, like, there's something wrong here, right? Like, you shouldn't be wearing so you can't breathe.
Yet you still do it because you want to.
Gosh. I have this one memory of wearing, one of my first cosplays was Zelda from Hyrule Warriors, and she has this corset, and before I left the house I did it up way too tight. And I was like, it was bad. And because, like, she also has hip armor, I could barely sit in the outfit too, and it was just like, man. I ended up, like, halfway through the day, I just, like, loosened it a lot, and it was a lot better, but I was a bit overambitious. I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. No. For, like, 10 minutes later, it was not good. It was like, oh my god, I can't breathe.
Oh no.
Alright.
Oh man.
Hit us with your ranking, Uni.
Alright. So, I separated cold and hot because, you're about to hear my reasoning. Okay, so, number 1, clothes that are too cold for the weather. Because I go out in, like, shorts in the winter when it's, like, minus, what? Like, 30? Like, cold doesn't affect me, alright? So that's easy.
Cold never bothered you anyway.
Exactly. Exactly.
Elsa cosplay incoming.
Yeah. Oh no. Uni as a blonde would not be good, is what I'm saying. Okay.
I want to see it.
Oh no. Okay, 2, I put fake eyelashes, but I've never actually worn any, so I don't know. I just feel like it wouldn't be, like, that bad compared to the stuff that's on this list.
Yeah, the list is rough. That's why it's it's like, it's like, this is kind of rough, but, like, the list is savage.
Yeah, I was
That's
like,
how much you know I hate falsies.
Like, I've never tried them, so I can't really judge, but, like, when I saw the rest of the list, I was like, I'll just put it second. Should be okay. You know? Okay. 3rd, I have high heels because, like, high heels you can get used to in general. Like, you wear them often. Yeah, okay, like, it's fair. 4th, I have full body paint. Like, it's paint. Like, you can wash it off after. Like, it's okay. I feel like. 5, I have knee-high socks that keep falling down. Just because I deal with that every day anyways, so I'm used to it. I get a little annoyed, but, like, yeah, this is my daily life because I wear knee-high socks every day, pretty much. So that's the usual, you know. Next I have, wait, what am I on? Yeah, a heavy/large prop. Like, you're carrying it. That's how props are. like it's heavy, but, like, you can put it down at least. Yeah. Okay. Next one I have wear shoes that are the wrong size. I just know how annoying it is to wear shoes that are the wrong size. It's
terrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's terrible.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Yeah. Then I have a wig that is too small because headaches. Yeah, I don't like headaches. So, then I have something covering your face so no one can hear you properly. Yeah. These are self-explanatory, do I have to say? Held together by duct tape just seems like a nightmare. Trying to keep that together. Then I have something covering your eyes that reduces your vision. Yeah, like, I'm blind anyway, so, I mean, but still, I kind of like to see even if I'm already blind. Then I have can't sit down. I like sitting down when I get tired. Can't use hands. Yeah, I like using my hands. 14 is can't breathe properly, which would be last, but I have clothes that are too hot because I can't stand heat.
That's like the last one. You're like, nope.
It's last because if I get too hot, I have to go to the hospital, which is even worse than not being able to breathe. So
yeah, that
like
is
just
worse.
for my circumstances, it has to be last.
Oh gosh,
or else it would be can't breathe properly. So yeah, that is the list.
So with that in mind, I feel like we have a consensus pretty much. Notwithstanding of what the worst one is, which is can't breathe properly.
Yeah, I think that is pretty terrible. I mean, small wigs are bad, but like, honestly, not being able to breathe, that's not a, it's not a
like
great
can't
time.
breathe,
It's
like
not,
I'm
it's not
dying. Yeah, not ideal at
That's
all.
kind of
Is there one we can agree on that's like one of the easier ones? I don't know. I would be willing to go up for the props.
Yeah, I think the props and then eyelashes weren't too bad, were they? I feel like Kitty, you had them a bit more. Also, like right now on the video, I'm wearing fake eyelashes and struggling with them. So like, I feel like I'm like, oh, it's easy, and then I'm like, my eyelashes are falling off. I'm like,
and it's only been roughly an hour.
I can't judge. Like I've never had fake eyelashes, so I don't know.
We'll leave the lashes in dispute, but I think we can all agree that we would all do heavy or large props. Because props can be put down.
Yeah. Heavy or large
put
props
down,
is fine.
You feel super epic.
Yeah.
Less epic is not being able to breathe, so that's
that is less epic. Make sure everybody, all the listeners, if you cosplay safely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to endure anything that you don't like. 90% of the things on this list, like large props, okay, eyelashes, okay, but like you can't breathe. Your wig is way too. Honestly, the wig too small is terrible. Like you just get headaches.
Yeah, and then you have to like go take some Advil or something, and you're like, then you have to wait for it to kick in.
Why I always got headaches? Like whenever I cosplayed, I'm like, I thought it had to do with conventions, but then one time I was just cosplaying, like not at a convention. I still got a headache, and I'm like, what is it? It was the wigs. It's the wigs.
It's the wigs.
I mean, it's so avoidable. Like you can essentially what you can do if you have to. I've had to do this because like I can't. I do not stand for small wigs anymore. You can essentially in the back, you can cut between the wefts and then actually just put like a little insert so that the wig is just a tiny bit bigger, or like put a little piece of elastic. And if it's like a long-haired wig in the back, or if it's like anime long hair wig, or like anime boy hair even, like it's kind of like fluffy, right? And so you can like hide any sort of like little inconsistencies with that, and then you don't have to have headaches. Pro tip right there.
Pro tip right there. I love it. We did a full circle. We started the episode with tips and tricks, and we've wrapped it up the same way.
Yes.
All right. And that's our show for tonight. Thank you, Nonsense Gamers, for joining in on our conversation. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll see you next week with new episodes every Saturday. Boop.
Boop.
Boop, boop.
Okay, that's a wrap.
Yay.